Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Humankind, where we have our first ever vassal. So I was looking at the treaties page here. This is what we get out of vassalage. First of all, access to resources is shared between the two empires. Theoretically could be very useful if their land has strategics or whatever that ours doesn't. Obviously, this is a little bit less relevant in this case since we took all of their land. They still have a couple of regions. It might matter. We can see everything they can see, and we're going to come back to that in a moment because there is something interesting that happened with that. The Liege Empire determines the state religion of the vassal, and influence gained by the vassal extends the liege's sphere of influence rather than their own. So every time Brown earns influence, they're exerting orange influence pressure on our neighbors instead of Brown, which is bad news for our neighbors because we were already pushing our influence sphere out pretty far on our own. And then finally, the vassal empire does not have diplomatic relations with people. For diplomatic purposes, it is almost as though we are a single player. That has its upsides and its downsides, obviously, because Brown is annoying our neighbors with trespassing and stuff, and I'm going to take the heat for that, but I don't know how much we can actually do about it. So this gives you an interesting way to sort of get the benefits of, and obviously if I go to war with somebody, the vassal is dragged into the war with me, which is potentially valuable. So this is like a cool way of getting many of the benefits of controlling territory without having to worry about like expanding city cap or being able to afford influence related costs related to the territory. Had we just taken the city of Assur instead, we would have gotten a fourth city without having to pay the tremendous influence cost of making a fourth city. You can see here, 1,060 influence to put up a new city in this situation. So I don't know, maybe that would have been better. Maybe it would have been better to just take their capital because I'm sure it's very built up. I wanted to try the vassal thing because we'd never seen it before, but I honestly don't know which one of those two things was the stronger choice in that position. So the place where shared vision becomes interesting is, I didn't notice this at the end of the last video, but we now know pink. And if we look over here, we can see the reason there are all these little bits exposed is because this is where their trade resources are. So I think pink and brown must have met early on, and there must have been trade running and some kind of shared vision thing between pink and brown maybe, or something like that, is how pink met the minor factions, the independent peoples on our landmass. I don't know, maybe pink got boats really early and just like maybe the water between us and them is pretty easy to sail. There's a lot of shallows or something.
Greetings, Sovereign. I ask only that you always be courageous and sincere.
You know, we ask that of everybody. No big deal. So what's your deal? You're condescending. They believe that they are less powerful, or they believe that we are less powerful than they are. They have aired Syrians. Brown attacked them at some point. So yeah, there's been some kind of weird contact between brown and pink. Broadly, though, they are cool-headed and forgiving, so that's good news. Also, I'm knocking stuff over on my desk. Apologies. Bonus money from cities, bonus money from trade. They prioritize the collection of luxuries and want to control all the manufactories. Okay, I still don't really know what manufactories are. That's a later game thing. We'll figure it out together. So that's interesting. So now we know that there's probably another landmass right over there. So yeah, it looks like the sea between us must be fairly narrow, right? All right, so what are we doing? That's all interesting stuff. What are we doing now? What's our plan? Where is forward from here? We could try to acquire more neutral, more independent people cities. I know we had planned an outpost over here because I wanted to get control of Mount Roraima, and I think that is still a thing we ought to do. We definitely want to get this star. We need to fight some independent peoples. There's a hostile one down here. Yeah, this should be easy enough. A couple units of archers shouldn't be a problem. And then, I mean, do we want to start spending resources trying to make friends with independent peoples? We're going to have a much harder time of it because of the fact that we no longer get all that free global proximity. And with pink and brown both being completely full here, the moment it looked like we were about to receive any benefit, they could just snap them up and assimilate them. I don't know if Brown... I don't know if Brown can do that now that they're... I don't really know what the rules of being a vassal are, because that's kind of a diplomatic move, right? I don't know. For the moment, we'll assume that Brown is capable of doing that. Yep, same deal over here, and our proximity to them is even worse. They are all the way in on tradition. God, and there's so many of them down here, too. And yep, Pink and Brown have completely filled up on both of them, on all four of them. What about y'all? Actually, Pink and Brown are all the way up on these ones, too. There were Brown units up here while the Scythian unit was running around looking for a place to settle, so I assume that that's part of how that happened. So it's probably not worthwhile for us to expend any resources on this, especially considering how much we're talking about. If we're looking at having to save up 1,000 influence for our next city, yeah, all right. I'm just going to ignore the miners for the moment. If a player does leap on them, our sphere of influence stuff will kick in, and it'll be very, very hard for anyone else to maintain control of them. So we'll see. We'll resolve it that way, I guess. Yeah, so what do we have to do this turn? We have military units that I don't know what to do with. You know, actually, all this talk about crossing the sea. Okay, so this ship is damaged by consecutive turns spent in deep water. Do we have boats right now? All right, we have the basic Pentaconter, of course, obviously, which is destroyed by spending more than one turn in deep water, obviously, very much limiting its use as a vessel of ocean exploration. Up from that, you can get trade expeditions, the transport galley. Okay, so this is land units being able to embark. That seems valuable. And then the first real boat, like the good exploration boat, is off of that. This is a prerequisite. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I think it might behoove us to get a better idea of the shape of the world. So we're going to have transport technology pretty soon. So who's going to be transport scouts and who's going to be actual fighting units? Well, I mean, probably it's the scouts that do the scouting, right? I think that makes a certain kind of sense. And then we can merge up 2 warriors and 2 hoplites here.
Over there. Let's go.
To be an actual fighting force, like an army that is actually good at fighting other armies of this era. And you know what, for safety's sake, let's just go ahead and have these upgrades ready. We want other players to look at our force and go, yeah, that's not worth fighting with. I'm not going to spend my time on that.
Let's go.
All right, so y'all head up here, and we'll get near the coast. We'll be ready for when the technology's finished. You're going to head south and fight some dudes, but you don't have to. I guess you can also just go to the coast. We have a city that is not building anything. Oh, and also an event. The ongoing war is a draining experience for the Empire. Your many armies fighting across the land, costing you capital, resources, and, of course, blood. The question of funding these endeavors should be addressed. So I assume that this fired because we had a war that took place over a certain geographic area or that ran for more than a certain number of turns. It probably triggered at the beginning of this turn while the war was still on. So how should we finance our armies? We can pay them wages, which seems like a pretty reasonable way to do that thing. Plus stability on occupied cities and on the garrison district. And I believe the garrison district is naturally plus stability, so this just makes it more plus stability. And it moves this bar toward bonus combat strength and away from plus food, right? Yeah. Or we can we can quote unquote keep our soldiers alert by making them plunder for their wages. I mean, that does move us in an ideological direction that I'm a little happier with. Plus 4 combat strength while ransacking. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't think we're going to spend influence on this right now. Well, this effect is not valuable right now, but plus 5% food on all of our cities and getting us very, very close to getting to the 10% is immediately relevant. You know what? Let's go ahead and do it.
It's not plunder. It's an early form of performance-based incentive payments.
Pretty scathing review of performance-based incentive payments there. And he's not wrong. Yeah, we have a lot of money. I guess we could buy access to more luxury goods. It feels, oh, I didn't do the thing we came over here to do, which was pick a thing for this city to build. So we do still need to get our wonder, the wonder that we claimed, and it's probably worth getting it fairly early. So it generates a ton of stability. The city that we actually put this down in is going to be able to expand out and grab a bunch of extra districts probably. Which, if we make it Feng Hao, no, we probably want to make it a COD, because a COD could then scoop up a bunch of this land. So these shared projects, any city can work on them regardless of where they are being built. And in fact, once we commit to this, we'll probably transfer all 3 of the cities to it. So yeah, let's put it down in a COD's territory. So it is itself a district that exploits all of the resources of the tile. So is there any place that's like particularly valuable? I assume it will only exploit the tile that it's on and not anything else around it. Can we see that? Adjacent tiles are not valid. Oh, must be placed next to a woodland or a forest. Okay. So basically, like, are there any high value tiles that are really far away from the rest of the city? Like, okay, this is not bad. This is a 5 value tile that is obviously next to a forest. There's not really a lot else here that's super compelling. This is a 5 value tile that's next to a forest. Yeah, that one's not bad at all, actually. And since we're building districts from here, it would take a while for anything to get built over here. Actually, I like that quite a bit. Let's do it there. This is a COD's territory, right? Yes. Now, it is also a source of faith, and if we built it, I think that faith pressure is influenced by where the faith is generated. So building a source of faith so far away from everybody else, because a COD is sort of like sequestered in the Northwest, does reduce the amount of religion pushing we're able to do with this. It would be better to build it like right up against Green's border or something for that purpose. But I think the stability concerns overwhelm that for me. I'm not so concerned about our religion, and it seems to be doing a fine job of spreading. So that's going to take forever if we just let Feng Hao do it. But obviously, we have other plans. Boy, do I just want to buy out the amphitheatron here? Yeah, let's go ahead and get on that. Okay, so yeah, 2 cities working on it together. It's got it down to 10 turns already. You can throw your lot in when you finish the forge, which will be great. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. And we are 3 districts away from our first Builder Star. We're still following pink by a fair amount, but then the player in 3rd is a fair amount behind us on top of that. Poor brown is doing just terribly. If stuff was going so poorly for them, I guess I kind of see why they did the very antagonistic move that they did. Oh, this is all cliffed. That's awkward. Will it be fastest to move around this side? Oh, that's a district. Okay, we'll come around here. Let's see if we can grab those units. The population in Rastaban's going to keep bouncing up and down because we keep hitting the limit. Oh, they came to me. Lovely. At this point, I'm a little gun shy about the auto resolver. We're just going to tend to manually resolve things. So the stars you're seeing here are indicators of veterancy. Higher veterancy just means higher combat strength, in effect. Yeah, we'll set up like this. Not so good, I think. Yeah, it turns out archers, not that great at melee combat. I should probably shoot them first, right? Right, like we should lower their health and thus their damage output before we go trading blows. Alright, there's a star. Cool. So seven more kills to the next one. That's a distance to cover, huh? We should be getting our first scientist star very shortly, though, right? It's 1 turn and then like a 2-turn technology after that. Yeah. So in 3 turns, we have the first scientist star, which we get bonus fame for, and then we'll be able to embark. We're not going to be like great at exploring when embarked, but it'll be something. Oh, really? The Hittites feel that I stole their natural wonder. It's a little possessive, don't you think? Okay, so where do we want to keep this army? Because this is our like actual fighting army. I guess we want to keep it near all of these neutrals. Yeah, we'll come down here and we'll figure it out from there. Because they're going to run up in our territory and try to pillage stuff and basically be a pain. And we want to be able to kill them when they do so that we get progress on our on our stars. And we do have our collective minds thing, but like obviously not while we're building the wonder at the very least. When do we get? We have to get to 450 influence to claim the next wonder. I don't know if we want to necessarily, because it will spend the 450 influence, and I sure would like to build some more cities. A bunch of our stuff is like kind of close to its sustainability limits. Yeah, you can see we're like slightly positive on food when there are only 4 citizens eating. And then we get negative as soon as there are 5 and there's no more farmer slots, so we can't pump food output up anymore. Which probably means... I mean, there are quite a few river tiles here, so artificial reservoirs wouldn't be bad, but I'm kind of thinking maybe we should build a farmer's quarter, because it will open up another farmer slot in addition to generating more food. Although we do not have great land for that. I guess if I farmer's quarter here, it gets us these 2 tiles. Yeah, that's another 9 food plus a farmer slot. That's not bad. And one of those tiles is even a river, so that when we do build the river thing afterward, it will be more effective. Alright, so we now have this thing building up here, and we have, I guess, another army that's going to get in the water in a second. Oh, we're very close to getting that this turn. Can I push some people over to science and make that happen? Remember, because of buildings we built, because of our legacy bonus, we are even more effective at science production than we are at the other things. Yep, it took exactly 1 person. Okay, cool. So y'all just wait here. Oh, right, I do have another scout here. I guess let's try exploring from the shore over here. Off of Asur. And this is also another real combat army. I mean, I guess just get back in friendly territory and heal up, and then maybe we just hunt neutral faction troops for a while and see if we can't get that 3rd combat star. So even if we get all 3 of the combat stars and all 3 of the science stars, you can see decay has started to set in here. That's still not quite enough to move us to the next era. So, like, what else? You can see the money and influence needed for those 2 stars goes up really sharply at this point. Connecting 4 additional territories to cities feels difficult. I mean, I'm sure we'll get this, right? I'm sure we will get at least 3 more districts. 12 population doesn't seem like that much, really, if you spread it over multiple cities, but remember, we're already having a hard time supporting more people in some of our cities, so we are not necessarily in the greatest place. Is this Brown trespassing on them?
Haircut?
Probably. I don't know exactly what's going on. Okay, Rastaban gained another point of population. Yep, Feng Hao gained and lost, and then Rastaban's going to gain and lose. All right. Let's get that science star. The Egyptians have entered the classical era. Were they the last ones? It looks like, yeah, probably. All right, so everybody's in the same era now.
You have my ear. Tell me what you wish to discuss.
Oh, okay. So the agrarian affinity ability allows you to, there's a little bar that you have to fill up by generating enough food and population, I think. It might just be food. And then once it's full, there's a button you can press to draw a point of population from every adjacent territory owned by another player into your territory, which obviously is like extremely good. So they stole population, and the thing we can ask for is 600 gold. Maybe? Also, sorry, so they took Knock. Okay, well, we thought they probably were going to, and they took population from Ninawa, not from, like, one of our territories. Still, it is annoying.
A sight for sore eyes.
Somebody has gained renown as a merchant. That's cool. The Celts... Wait, sorry. The Celts have made a demand. Give... Alpha Rats. What? So if I refuse this demand, it'll pop up a little thing for them that has two buttons on it. One of them is, okay, give it up, my bluff was called, and the other one is declare war. They don't have a ton of war support yet. It's not clear to me why... What is the source of this demand? What grievance did this emerge from? I don't know. It's not clear to me why they think they're allowed this. So they believe they're stronger than us. They see us as their closest challenger, which is just like, that's mathematically correct. So part of what's happening here is they're looking to make trouble. If we refuse the demand, even if they do just surrender the demand, it still gives them war support. And if we don't address the demand, they'll gain 3 war support every turn from having an ongoing demand up. It says from having more ongoing demands. So wait, if I put up a demand, will that neutralize that? Ah, they immediately fired their grievance as well to maintain demand parity. I can propose that we abandon our demands and return to a stable diplomatic state. Something tells me they're not going to accept, but I will propose it.
How about we clean the slate and withdraw all demands?
Your proposal is too much of a ball and chain on my ambitions.
Okay, yeah, that does not shock me.
Enough of that.
Do I think that they're a serious threat in terms of a war? Because the thing is, if we don't think that they can take us quickly, even if they do have a superior military, but it's like across the ocean, we have 2 armies of reasonably good troops right here. We could just rush Knock and potentially take it, and if we do manage to take it, then we could probably drain their war support out pretty quickly. I'm gonna hit refuse on their demands. Let's see what happens.
Begone with your wretched proposal.
Okay, they did indeed withdraw. Remember, if they had declared war there,
Those when to withdraw their demands. Now is that time.
if they had declared war there,
You'd agree to
they would have earned a traitor badge because their war support is too low. Like, the war would not be viewed as justified. So now they've got a ton of bonus war support, but it is going to decay over time because they are a non-militarist culture. War support naturally decays back toward 50. So hopefully we just don't do anything that causes them to generate more demands, because I don't really want to get drawn into this game they're playing. Obviously, they want to go to war with me because they think they would win that war, but they have to maneuver themselves into a situation where they will not be seen as a monster for doing so. Or, I mean, you know, they don't have to. I suppose they could just suck it up and be viewed as a warmonger. It is hard to get in the water. And of course, naval units or land units in transports are nowhere near as good at looking around. We have a much lower vision radius than proper boats, but we're working on proper boats. The Empire's reputation as an oasis of learning and knowledge grows. Together with the reigning peace, philosophers from faraway lands flock to your cities to exchange ideas. One has studied that great fiery visitor in the heavens that rises and sets without fail every day. They have proven the sun is an orb of vast distance from our world, and not a celestial god, although, who's to say that that isn't exactly what celestial gods are? Maybe they're all just fiery orbs. Should you open your people's eyes to these new vistas? It certainly seems like that's in keeping with how we've been playing so far. I mean, obviously, this is going to drag us back toward tradition, which is not a thing that we are interested in. It will also make our cities fanatical, which is cool, I guess. But if we tell our people the truth, we will gain science. 50 science per city over the next 10 turns. Seems pretty all right. There's a chance of triggering further events, you know, accusations of heresy and whatnot, but it's kind of a weird concept because, like, it's certainly not the case that all religions are, like, anti-astronomical. This is kind of transposing a certain, a very particular religious conflict onto the idea of all religion in a way that I think is quite strange, but whatever, it's fine. So, in a region where we just have an outpost, we can pay influence to build a harbor, which would probably be a good idea if we're trying to build boats. Where do I want a harbor? I guess up here we're like very close to the top of the world map, so somewhere over here is probably more sensible. I guess here. There's a lot of influence. Yeah, it's probably
You have built the first
fine.
harbour to construct and launch the vessels of the Empire. Time to stock up on champagne bottles.
Oh, except, Are we going to be able to build ships out of that without that region being connected to a city? Maybe not. It may be the case that I need to extend out of Alpharats and then connect Alpharats to a COD, and then in a COD build the ships. Yeah, okay, well, I guess we'll see. Like, would I be allowed? We do have the vessel technology now. Yep, okay, so we need a harbor connected to the city. Okay. Listen, that harbor will be useful eventually. Probably. Maybe. We'll do this, then we will connect Alpharats to a COD, which is a thing that we can actually almost afford to do next turn. We'd totally be able to afford to do it if I hadn't built that other thing. I did just buy us 2 districts, though, so, you know, progress on the Builder Star. The Nubians are repeatedly forgiving Brown for trespassing. Okay, they're spawning more units down here. Ooh, lots of cav. I would like to fight your cavalry, please. We'll just keep our units in the area, I guess, in case Pink does try some more stuff. Wow. Yeah, okay. Extremely poor movement and extremely poor vision. This is, in fact, maybe going to turn out not to be a viable plan at all. Oh yeah, we can embark at the harbor for cheaper. So the deal is, if we end one of these transport ships, if we end their turn on a deep water space, on an ocean space, we will get a little notification that says they're in danger, and if they end the next turn also in an ocean space, they just immediately die. So not very good for long-term exploration. Your merchants trek the world. Well, they're trying, reaching great markets in far climes and selling your highly prized natural riches for much coin. Conversely, your empire sees many traders from distant lands visit our plazas with their goods, their wit, and their provocative ideas. When their knowledge contradicts the wisdom of your elders, it raises the question of who you should trust. So who has the biggest influence on our empire's knowledge? Elders' wisdom obviously drags us in the wrong direction here. I do like bonus science for people doing research, though. That's nice. Or foreign innovations. This feels like a bit of a false dichotomy. But just plus science per number of trade routes. I believe we have actually a very large number of trade routes currently. Is there an easy way to see that? Okay, if we just mouse over, yeah. So no trade coming from Feng Hao. Akkad has another 10. So that would just be 28 science per turn right now. Like, my total Empire science output is, yeah. That's more than a 10% boost in science. That seems like a very good choice. And it moves that ideology slider all the way over to the edge. This will slow down connecting Akkad to that region, but we don't really need to do it until the Temple of Artemis is done anyway, so yeah.
There must be an awful lot in that wide world that the elders never even thought of.
That is the idea. That's what I was thinking. I assume that when we finish the temple, it counts as a district and it will complete this. I can't imagine that not being the case. So it seems like if we just expose ourselves to Urkus, they'll probably... You think we could just take it over through combat? I guess that's the thing I've not really tried with a neutral faction. Okay, we might give that a go. Alright, let's just go ahead and move them right away. Keep y'all close for backup. But yeah, it seems like if we just expose ourselves to the independent people, they tend to come after us. Although maybe that's not happening this time. Well, I'm gonna give them a second here, but we may end up just attacking that city. So like we can sail out a couple of spaces and end our turn here, but then we have to come back to the shallows immediately. You do not get to do very much exploration. Over here though, we do have some extended shallows. Oh my god, you guys move so slowly. And over here, we saw a sea anomaly. We found a boat. Oh, neat. That is actually wonderful news. This boat is also... Yeah, also destroyed by spending more than one turn in outside of the shallow water. But look at that. Look at the visual range you get off of an actual ship. We're still gonna have to sail back to the shallows next turn, but we get to get a hell of a lot more vision this way. Okay, so y'all two are the only two that still need moves. In Akkad, work is proceeding on the magnificent new wonder. That's true. What should be a source of pride in the local population, however, is now causing much dread. A terrified citizen has approached your court to tell you that the city's head priest intends to bury alive 100 random citizens near the base of the structure to bring good fortune and pacify the gods. Why, though? Why do we think that that's what that would do? What is my reaction to the plans? I mean, it's not positive. We could endorse this plan. The gods mustn't be angered. It'll raise faith in the city, and obviously a point of population is apparently approximately 100 people. We could tell them, hey, no, don't do that. Or we could instead sacrifice animals. For being spared, the citizens must pay in military labor. So a reduction in food, but also it's cheaper to build land units for a while. I guess I'm just gonna hit stop here.
You're at the end of an ideology axis? Well, there's something to be said for unswerving dedication to a cause.
This cause in particular, I feel like. All right, and now we have the influence necessary to do this attachment, right? Just go ahead and do that. So yeah, we're dropping towards 62, but then the completion of the temple should put us back at 100. And then from there, we can actually build ships out of the harbor. Ships that can survive deep water in 2 turns. It's actually really well timed. Okay, I guess let's do fighting then. I really thought for sure we were just going to be able to fight that little army. But let's see what happens here. So our force is certainly stronger overall. We have a hell of a lot of cool units. So we can just sit here and siege. It is not... What happens if I do that? Okay, so we work toward building siege weapons. Right now, the only siege weapons we know about are battering rams, but we can use them to destroy walls, and thus make it easier for us to not have to deal with like the fortification bonuses we were seeing in Assur. I think we can just go for it, probably. They have a fair number of units. We want to make sure that we get inside the fences quickly. So... yeah, manual battle. Okay, here we go. This is the screen I wanted. Deploy them as soon as the reinforcement tile is available. Yeah, we'll just get them out there quickly. So, like I said, I think we want to... oh, we're still deploying. That's why I can't pull them out, because this is not the first turn yet. I mean, we may as well just set the spears in front, right? There we go. Now we're in battle proper. So, with their fortification bonus, with us attacking over the fences, they're still having a pretty miserable time here. We may as well pull the archers out of the reinforcement. I gotta get these units out of here as well. Yeah. Additional phalanx time. Wait, I want to select the unit that's on this tile. Okay. So these warriors, we can just move them to here to provide additional backup. I definitely want to move the archers to a position where they're kind of out of the way. And from right here, they can still shoot. Yeah, this is fine. So I definitely want to open, obviously, with... wait, can you not? Yeah, okay. So obviously, very bad news.
Here we go.
Am I not allowed to move?
Nope.
Huh. I'm surprised. I thought I'd be able to move through my friendly unit into that. Okay, well, then I think that's actually all of the fighting we can do for this first round. That was all the fighting they felt comfortable doing there as well. I was hoping they would get that kill so that we wouldn't have to use the archers on that unit. Because I really wanted to use the archers to help clean up this stuff. I mean, I think it probably still makes more sense for the archers to go here. And the question is, do I want to drop the injured unit back? Because I certainly don't want to risk losing a 2-star hoplite unit. But also, they're going to have the high ground. Yeah, you know what? It's fine. They'll be fine. And then you can't enter this space this turn, so I guess, again, we're just done. Yeah, these hoplites, when they're fighting in formation, they're just, like, absolutely terrifying. Can I move you in? I would love to give some experience to these guys. Okay, and the Celts have immediately demanded that I surrender the city to them. I guess I did walk right into that. They had a claim on the city, right? So this is a good way of acquiring a city without having to pay the influence cost. For the moment, we're just paying a small influence penalty. And that's got us like 1 unit off, right? Yeah. Okay. I need... Dirk Galzu is aggressive, they'll probably produce a military unit that will fight with us. And then this is a pretty big city. I mean, we could just go take Dur-Kuri-Galzu, right? That would also be a good way to get the thing done. So let's build some... Wow, the city's in remarkably good shape stability-wise, considering the number of districts it has up. I guess it has a commons quarter, which certainly helps. So, what do we want to do here? So he's got pretty good food output. It has no population for the moment. I guess, yeah, we could put down... We could replace... Is this a farmer's quarter right now? But yeah, we could replace that farmer's quarter because obviously, like, there's a lot of adjacency there. That feels pretty good. I'm sure they didn't need that. Okay, so new demands from Pink. So if we don't deal with the demand, oh well, sorry. Demands are even though, right? So we did trigger a grievance. They immediately converted the grievance into a demand. This will leave them at 77 war support, unable to declare a justified war on us, as long as we don't give them anything else to get upset about, such as, for example, taking Dur-Kuri-Galzu through war. Yeah, that would be unfortunate. Okay, so we're just gonna keep playing it very careful here. My units do heal in Brown's territory, right? Yes, good. I suppose we could just buy their health back up, but what if I use that money more responsibly for other things? So yeah, I think for the moment, we're good. Gonna have real ships pretty soon. Rastaban has gained a population that it will immediately lose. Yep, Fenghao's doing the dance. People of regions getting converted. Yeah, we have all of these units that must get back to shallow water. The Hittites feel differently about me. They're hesitant. What were they before? Was this not their thing before? I don't know. Ah, good. We don't have to necessarily take the city. We can just fight the one army. So do I want to just buy your health back up? Yeah, I guess because it looks like we're about to do a fight. Okay, we'll let the army with the dual hoplites in it lead. I should probably just swap this around so all of the hoplites are in the same force. Well, we're out of movement now. Okay, let's just sail back to the shallows. Recover real quick here. Yeah, not a very good way to scout the ocean, it turns out. You really do need the better ships. So there's a lot of reefs around here. Wow, reefs have a very high movement cost. It's like 3 forests at once. All right, we're about to get our wonder, which is very cool. So we're working on our stars, and I'm desperately trying not to get drawn into some nonsense here. Oh, cool. Yep, I did build a
Congratulations
wonder.
on building the Temple of Artemis. It is a site of worship, most definitely. Even more so if you also worship marble.
Come on, attack me. I'm worried that attacking them would count as a slight against Pink because Pink has so much influence here. Oh, the Nubians also have a bunch of influence. Man, maybe somebody else could get control of these guys. I don't want to have to do it. I can't really afford to do it. Yeah, all right. We're going to have to attack them, I think. Oh, no, they're moving. Okay. They just didn't want to lead against this army. Well, cool. This is just self-defense. This is legitimate. So So... obviously, we want to put the hoplites together. But maybe we put the one veterancy guys up here. The archers should be close. Okay. Yeah, just absolutely terrifying damage output. So, I kind of want to focus on you. They should run their archers, like, right up there, huh? Perhaps unwisely. Do I think I would get the kill here? Probably.
Let's go!
Okay. I guess finish the job. And then I don't think any of our other units are going to be able to move far enough to get through this turn, so yeah, we'll just body up here. Okay, excellent news. And it is now of very limited value for us to keep fighting independent peoples, so let's just calm down. I know we have this hammer and everything. Oh, can I upgrade this directly? It's not even very expensive. Cool. Okay, so now the mechanic will be the same. It'll warn us at the end of the first turn, and then at the end of the second turn, in deep water, a thing will happen, but now the thing is just some damage instead of instantly dying. So we can make a much greater exploration here. Let's just go looking for new lands. And I guess y'all may as well get back on the shore. You're not accomplishing anything out here. You probably don't need to be right here, but we do want to keep them. We do want to keep some of these things nearby. You know what? I'm just gonna have you do nothing for the turn. For this turn, we're gonna rebalance those armies in a second here. All right, yeah, y'all get back on land. Once we know where there is another landmass, we can potentially try to like plot a route to it or something. Ooh, pearls.
Fall in.
So yeah, trending toward 100% because wonders are, pretty all right. Should probably build these wherever we can. Does it make sense to put it down here? To some extent, it matters where we think we're going to expand to next. I probably don't want to put it down over here and just like annihilate all of the very useful industry here. But well, I was gonna say getting to the coast might be valuable so that we can have a harbor. But right, this city already has a harbor. We just spent all that effort putting that harbor together. Yeah, I guess go ahead and build it over here. So the capital is also still quite good on stability. This is a thing we really have to watch out for. And especially as we continue to advance our ideology sliders, you got to remember we are going to lose stability that way, so... we've already got one in this region. We don't have one over here yet. This would be fine. Yeah, I think that's an okay focus. Oh, hey, another independent people, somehow. Oh, wait, sorry. I was going to make another boat. We should have more than one boat. Make that the focus. And we could just buy that out. We do have the... You know what? I'm going to do that. We have the money to just buy that out. I want to get exploring. So, boat is a military unit, and as such, does cost a point of population. Somebody's got to crew that boat. So, we're exactly at our city cap right now. Remember, we are allowed to reach into the next era. So we could grab another point of city cap quickly. I don't know that we... There are all these minor factions around here. All these independent peoples, rather. Hard to know. Charcoal kiln. We don't really have that many makers' quarters in most of our cities. I'll tell you what I do want. I want feudalism. because feudalism will give us this this ability to start new cities with a bunch of the basic structures already up. And if we should manage to find another landmass, especially if it's a landmass that is underpopulated, I would love to get growth going somewhere else, and it's very nice to be able to start with this kind of stuff. So if I want this, we need to go through conquest into imperial power. So lower attach output cost. So this tech's kind of nothing, it looks like. This one lets you relocate your capital, build the commons quarter. Okay, very cool. And the customs farm. +1 money from ongoing trade. Huh. That does seem useful. All right. So yeah, feudalism is going to be my next focus. With 3 technologies off of this, we got this remarkably quickly. I do think that it was pretty clear that the greatest immediate fame boost was going to come from taking a militarist culture. I think this should set us up better in the long run. Is getting all these amphitheatrons down is going to be awesome. But we are going to probably be lagging a little bit on fame. We're keeping up with pink in terms of stars, and I think we've closed the gap a little bit in terms of fame, so that's good news. Well, I mean, you know what I mean. It's good news that we're not falling further behind. It is not good news that they are doing such a good job of keeping their numbers up. All right, we continue to convert everyone around us to Jew polytheism. Okay, so let's swap this hoplite in here. Let's move this army back one. We just bounce one of the warriors out. It doesn't really matter who. You joined this army and then pass through to that army. Okay. And I think I'm going to have... I don't know, I might have them both hang out just like sort of in this area. I guess there's a chance that we get attacked by green at some point. Maybe. I can't think of like what else I'm afraid of, really. So I don't know exactly how much damage your boats take if they provoke the damage effect. We're just gonna go find out. And I'm just kind of searching arbitrarily west. All right, here's the other new boat. Let's get whatever this is. Wow, 50 influence and 40 science is not a small yield. And you, I guess let's take a look at these people. Okay, that becomes deep water there. I suspect that the end of the region is where the end of the shallow water is, so we probably will not discover like a path over to a new continent or anything. But it's worth looking. Could get lucky. Alright, lots of important district building going on. Where's the next district star? 32? We might get there. We're building them very quickly. What would it cost to turn an outpost into a city at this point? 1810, jeez. Yeah, it is much easier to take a city than it is to build a city. It's an interesting balance. I will say one thing that I really like about that is that it encourages aggression in a way that's like not very intuitive to my usual play. It's like broadly, I would prefer to go through a whole game of a 4X without ever engaging in any military conflict if I'm allowed to just outbuild the other players. But they do make that like a lot more difficult here. I think it's an interesting direction. Okay, so it's a lot of damage. You cannot sustain that hit many times. So we kind of have to decide. Do I think I'm going to find something? If I turn around now, we'll take 33 damage again, and then we'll make it back to the shallows. I mean, okay, turbulent water slows you down in this game. Interesting. Turbulence in Endless Legend makes your boat faster. Well, that looks pretty bad. It looks like we're probably dead. But, like, this is the only way we're going to find anything new, right? It's just sailing as far as we can. Aha, shallows. Okay, we got something over here. Some boats will be lost in the process, you know? So we are continuing to look around for, like, potentially new curiosities and whatnot. And yeah, this is, in fact, just nothing space. Okay.
What fresh hell do you bring this time?
The thing's not trending down anymore. Is it because there are active demands? So if I refuse their demands, I'll give them an excuse. I don't want to give them my cool new city. I don't want to withdraw my demands because that will give them a war score bonus because they are, or a war support bonus because they have more demands than I do. So I guess we just sit here and we stare at each other across the stalemate. Oh wow, attaching territory to Urkus is like very cheap. Also, I'm just realizing we can't even see. I should send one of these groups of scouts down here. I'm not going to move the fighting armies. But yeah, somebody should come down here and reveal the southern end of this landmass. And do we want to attach here? I guess there's not really much reason not to, right? What would it cost to attach? Okay, we could grab a bunch of this land. That first one was so cheap that it was basically nothing. This is a little bit more of a consideration, but... so if we get... Next turn, we'll have a look at the Unclaimed Wonders. We'll see if it's worth picking one of them up. I do think that this was the right move, though, just for the extra
With 5
resource
farmers'
incomes.
quarters, this one city must have more farmers than most empires.
Okay, apparently there's a lot of, like, pretty specific text. Yep, this army is going to be lost at sea, and that is a real shame. Can you reach this? You can. Well, I don't know how you got the 80 money back to the rest of us, but I really appreciate it. So, okay. Not so successful, that particular voyage. Over here, though... Okay, this isn't too far away. I don't know exactly how we would get land units over here, but... Actually, I guess, like, it makes sense to sit on the river, right? So that we don't have to cross the river later. It looks like no new curiosities have spawned around here. Yeah, they don't have much in the way of defenses. I guess I could just go on a conquering spree up here since I do have military units and it seems like a lot of the independents don't. The Lighthouse of Alexandria gives a ton of vision and bonus naval movement speed. The Mausoleum at Halicarnassus gives plus 1% science per district on cities. Ooh. I don't know if this will only affect the city that it's built in. Hard to say. I sort of want to take the lighthouse, though, because I'm a little worried about how we will get our land units over to this thing without some source of bonus movement. I'm going to take it. And we'll just, we'll do most of our cities through conquering now, I guess, for a little while, because we're certainly not going to have the influence. Okay, what are we building in this city? We've got as many emblematic districts as we're allowed to get. You know, probably a good time for that. Those artificial reservoirs. Or do we... Sorry, do we have the water wheel? The water mill, rather. This is probably a more important quick build. Let's focus you on food. Yeah, get industry... Well... I'm torn. I don't know if it makes more sense to get the food for population first, or the industry to help me build the food building? Now we'll do it this way because we're already growing for the moment. The ability to place that extra farmer is going to make a big difference. All right, let's sail the coast over here and see what's what. Now, unfortunately, we cannot repair our ship out here because it's not friendly territory. We have enough health that we will be able to make it back at least. So that's something, I guess. All right, y'all are stationed. You're... That independent people army is not actually in defense range. I mean, do I... Damn, Pink is already pushing on him. How does Pink have vision over here? Well, we could certainly compete on this one. We have very close kinship, which is cool. They're really committed to the same ideas that we are. So if I take this independent people, is it going to generate another grievance on Pink that they're immediately going to turn into a demand, though? I do not yet have a good sort of exhaustive sense of what does that. If we did convert this into one of my cities, we would immediately get an expansionist star, which is fame. It's not nothing. 5 population off of that, and it looks like we're actually going to maintain the growth at this point. So yeah, we're potentially going to be able to get out of this era really quickly if we want to. The Nubians have a war... Wait, hold on. Hold on a second. What the hell's going on with the...
A sight for sore eyes.
I think that message is in error because we're not at war with them, but during peace, the equilibrium value for war support is very, very low. So I think that message is probably only supposed to display when you are actually at war. All right, y'all are stationed here. That's where you live now. Thing is, I do actually want your city pretty badly. I'm not allowed to buy up here, and if we back off to buy up to a warrior to make the battle more certain, then there's a chance that their actual units get in range, and we would certainly lose then. Thing is, I don't actually want this to be a city. I want to connect this to an existing city, right? Like running this from a COD would be ideal. And I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can downgrade a city back to an outpost. You can turn a claimed territory into a city again, like disconnect it and then turn it into a city, but I don't think you can do the other way around. All right, I'm gonna try to just take this. Let's see what happens. If this generates a grievance for Pink, I will be very curious about that. What's going on? Violence is temporarily up. The Hittites are mad at me. Whatever, we'll deal with them in a second. I guess there's no reason for me to deploy directly adjacent to the high ground. Oh, no, there is a reason. I literally must.
Follow me.
Well, okay, deploy like... I want you here. Select you. There we go.
Let's go.
Okay, they chose not to do that in the way I was expecting. I mean, they wanted to be on their flag, right? I get it. Oh boy. So they do have these citizens have that guardian trait. So first of all, what we're seeing here is citizens instead of levies, which means this minor faction has the first technology that upgrades your natural defense unit. And then on top of that, this unit has a guardian trait that makes it more powerful when it's standing on its own flags. So actually, oh boy, yeah, we're gonna lose this. Balance a power bar. You've tricked me again. I'm gonna fall back.
This way.
we're just gonna... I'm not gonna let them attack me from the high ground. Oh, they did come down. I must admit to some surprise on this matter. Well... Yeah, that unit has a base combat strength of 20. I mean, we can mess them up pretty bad. If I'd known they were actually going to follow me, I would have backed up another space. So there's no way... Yeah, we can't really move around to, like, create a flanking situation or anything. This very bad attack is the best attack we have available. Okay, yeah, we suffered on that. And now they're like, wait a second, I'm supposed to be playing defense. Am I allowed to run away? Can I disengage at this point? Nope, the battle will continue next turn. And unfortunately, I think their units are going to get to move into it next turn. So that's bad news for us. All right, no big surprises there. Do we want to just go quick to the Lighthouse of Alexandria? Yeah, I think so. So I don't know that it matters. Does it matter terribly where we build it? Obviously, actually, yeah, so it is marked as an exploitation tile. It'll get whatever we build it on, but none of the tiles around here are actually any good. They're all just one food. Well, okay. I mean, whatever. It's fine. We'll just put it right next to the harbor. It'll be very pretty there. And then, obviously, I would love some help from some other cities. We could just speed this up a tiny bit. Let's get the capital on that as well. I'm not going to bother putting... Feng Hao will be working on this thing forever. We should probably speed this up with money. Keep an eye on that. Okay, yeah, this is embarrassing.
Strike first.
We almost got him. Finish the job. Woo! It was a draw. Everyone died. I did kill their defenders. So, you know, you got to give me that. So maybe some not optimal play there. Could be the case. The problem is I believed the balance of power bar instead of like really assessing the fight with my own two eyes. Not a good strat in general. Do the math yourself. Don't trust the computer. Not usually a thing that that you need to think. Generally, computers are pretty good at math, but in this case, perhaps not optimal. Okay, so in a turn or two, we should be able to buy that off. If we had another military unit in the area, we could just, like, rock right up and take that. I'm sure it will
Your
regenerate
empire
its
becomes
defenses.
one of the giants, astride the globe. And what will you do with this power?
That's a great question. I don't know what I did to get counted as one of the giants. Oh, that was a world deed. That was one of those competitive deeds. Cool. Yeah, we're closing in on pink pretty well. For them to only be ahead of us by 160 fame while we are behind a star is very good news indeed. So it looks like a couple of islands real close together here. Well, this would be a fun direction to expand into. Sadly, the ship itself cannot put down an outpost, as far as I'm aware. In the prosperous city of Urkus, the game of dice has become a favorite pastime of the poor and wealthy alike. What was once entertainment is now serious business. Whereas the poor play for scraps, the stakes can be much higher for the city's wealthy. Now, one incredibly rich citizen has gambled away his entire fortune to a fellow citizen, leaving him destitute. What is your say on gambling? Yeah, that's okay. That's a question. So this will run this axis toward liberty, which I don't think we care about necessarily. We can prohibit gambling, which does move us one space in a useful direction, but doesn't get us to the next bonus. Don't much care for the locked down state, though. Or we can just control the gambling ourselves. Instead of indulging philosophers, we should create gambling houses where taxes can be collected. Down science, up money. I don't necessarily have really strong feelings about this. I suppose taking this thing will let us... Oh, no, wait, I'm reading that backwards. This will move the axis toward homeland. It's already... yes, okay, it's already at that edge. So that is counterproductive. So we probably don't want to prohibit. I think I'm just going to consent. I don't think I want money as badly as I want the science here. I'm just going to, yeah, y'all run your gambling. The state has no official position on this. Here we have Pink trying to take Durkari Galzu. It's interesting to see that they're doing it by force rather than by spending influence when they had maxed out their control. They had maxed out these people's opinion of them. I wonder if it's an influence issue. Like maybe they ideologically were not too close, and so it would have been so expensive they decided it was better just to fight. It's certainly interesting. So they have... Okay, they have some stuff here. 27 combat strength units. They got some swordsmen. They got some chariots. I mean, yeah, they're going to win that fight for sure. Well, I don't know that I have much to say about it. I don't love that they're going to be butting right up against me. What's up with green?
You have something to say?
You had a marker on you, and I don't know why. We're on the treaty screen here, so maybe they had asked for a treaty change, but then had changed their minds before I actually clicked on the notification. Could be. All right, we got a population gain. Ah, they downgraded our non-aggression pact is what happened. Okay. I don't love that. They really are starting to make me nervous. How do they feel about their army relative to ours? Strength comparable? Well, you know, after we put up this lighthouse, mayhap we build some more Hittites, or some hoplites rather. We'll just build some more Hittites. We'll replace them with robots. It's a brilliant plan. Obviously, it hurts to pay a bunch of points of population into your military, but at the same time, if you're at this point that we have been at with a couple of our cities where you are gaining and losing population constantly because you are just barely at the threshold of what your city can support, it's not necessarily such a bad idea. It doesn't really cost you very much to lose population in that circumstance. We got another event down here. Fortune is smiling on your empire. The decision to not interfere with wagers on games of dice and Urkus has paid off. A culture of sensible gambling has taken root across the empire, and very few are racking up big debts. In fact, it's become a reliable source of revenue. Cool. Money up with no attendant science loss. I'm into it. Where is that? Wait, didn't we have another scout over here somewhere? The one who had just come in from the water? What did I do with that guy? Oh wait, is this that guy? Had I just turned him around? For some reason I thought I had one more scouting army than I did. Because I was thinking, you know, once we have the lighthouse finished, we're still going to have to actually get somebody across here. And it looks like this is the place to try to plot that, but I don't know, even with the bonus movement, I don't know that that's going to be enough. And you can't outpost, right? Yeah, you have no land unit. So we do have to be able to get a land unit over here to take control of this. Well, I don't know exactly how we're going to do that. All right, in 3 turns, we're going to get ourselves our second science star, which will be star number 6, to be followed pretty shortly by this or that. And then probably that's not too far behind. And obviously we will stay in until we get the 3rd science star, because it's going to be worth a ton of fame. And pink is 1 star ahead. Okay, I think this is where we're going to call it for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. We're starting to get our influence production to a pretty good place, and hopefully we'll be able to really found a real city soon. I would love to get off of this landmass because things are starting to feel a little crowded around here. So when you come back next time, tomorrow, we expand our empire across the oceans. Fingers crossed, maybe. And we'll see you then.